Oh, hey guys, it's Johnny. Today, I figured I'd make a little video talking about some of the stuff that I do to microphones to enhance them a little bit. We are looking at a channel. He goes by the name of RetroJustPlay, and I found him online while I was looking for reviews of the Retron 5. Particularly the Hyper Beach version, the blue and purple, looks like it comes straight out of my Ambivice. And while I was listening to his review, because I was looking for some specific information about some carts, I noticed that he uses a camera microphone that's very filled with like a bunch of static. You know, that's not a problem. It's just, I know how to fix that. Or at least mitigate a lot of it. First, what you're going to want to do is download a program called Audacity if you are on Windows. The next thing you're going to want to do is download Lame and Ffmpeg. Now, what these do is that, you know, you can open, using Ffmpeg, you can import a .mp4 file into Audacity. And with Lame, you can export that file to an MP3. Because I use MP4 and MP3, basis of this tutorial will have you converting whatever file that you have, whatever video file you have, be it MOV, AVI, whatever, converting it to MP4 and then importing it to Audacity. You'll need these two tools to proceed. So after you get that, you get Audacity and all that installed, grab your MP4 file and import it. Now this window that pops up may not pop up for you if you are not using multi-track audio. I am using multi-track audio. Simply in my use case, I hook up 3 or 4 microphones or a whole bunch of different audio inputs. And then I use, you'll see in my editing program, you'll see all of the tracks later on. But once you import the file, you're going to want to cut, you know, whatever part of the video you're working on. I highly recommend just importing it and not trimming any of the timing off. And the reasoning for that will be explained towards the end of the video. So the first thing I did was I ran Audacity's default setting normalizer. What that does is it tries to even out the volumes of all of your audio here. And that makes everything, so the parts that sound like they're at volume level 4 versus the parts that sound like they're at volume level 10, it tries to find an average in between that and bring all audio levels to that level. The next thing I did was I did a compressor. What that does, at least with my understanding of how a compressor works, is it goes one step further from a normalizer and tries to boost lower frequencies and shorten higher frequencies, and like normalize the volume level on that as well. I added a bit of bass to it. It'll make it sound better for the people who use headphones. The next thing I did was I amplified the signal at a negative value, actually. So here Audacity said, hey, you want to amplify this by a value of -1/2, and it will stop your mic from hitting your or stop your audio track from hitting total peak. And then I just gave it a listen.
This receiver. So the system, whenever I play a Mega Drive Genesis game, is looking for me to use this controller to play with, which is I prefer using this. It's more.
So while I was listening to it, I was listening for a spot in your speech and in your movements that you were not doing anything. And the reasoning for that was we're going to start attacking that static that's constantly persisting in the background. So what you do next is you highlight a segment where there is hiss and no other noise, or, you know, this can be applied to other noises. Like, I'm a truck driver, so there will be times where I record video and audio, and you'll hear my truck idling in the background. I actually use this to mitigate the truck idling in the background, so long as I set my idle to, you know, like 750 or 800 RPM, something constant, so that it never changes at all. After I select where I want to get my noise sample from, you highlight just a little bit where there is no chat and noise, and you select that. You can use that as the sample for the noise reduction filter to base itself, and then you would click Get Noise Profile. After that, I would use, real quick, whenever you see it turn bright white, I'm using a command called Control-A, and that is the Select All command. I forgot to mention that earlier, but I press Control-A to highlight the whole thing, and then I do my effects to it. So you press Control-A, or you go to Edit, Select All, and then, or you just highlight the whole, you drag all the way from the left all the way to the right, just zoom out and do it, it makes it faster. Then you would go to Noise Reduction. Now, I applied it twice here because the noise was very strong, and this is the result.
This receiver. So the system, whenever I play a Mega Drive Genesis game, is looking for me to use this controller to play with, which is, I prefer using this. It's more natural to obviously the way that the Mega Drive games are laid out. However, I have encountered two interesting issues when using this controller.
So at this point, I load everything into DaVinci Resolve, and I enable all of my settings to make it, readable for myself. I cut up everything, and then I played your sample without any edits. And then after that, I brought in the sample with the edits so that you can hear it, one right after the other. And right about here, you can see that I am fidgeting around with trying to line everything up. Now, because I didn't just import it and then do the edits and then export it as is, same length, I'm f***ing around with trying to line it up, and I don't have the patience for this crap. So my advice to you is, if you don't want to end up doing this all the time, just don't cut any of the amounts of time off of your files until you're in editing and you have everything lined up. If you make the mistake that I made, then it's gonna cause you to be sitting there screwing around with this for way more than you wanted.
This receiver. So the system, whenever I play a Mega Drive Genesis game, is looking for me to use this controller to play with, which is, I prefer using this. It's more natural to obviously the way that the Mega Drive games are laid out. However, I have encountered two interesting issues when using this controller. This receiver. So the system, whenever I play a Mega Drive Genesis game, is looking for me to use this controller to play with, which is, I prefer using this. It's more natural to obviously the way that the Mega Drive games are laid out. However, I have encountered two interesting issues when using this controller.
So anyways, that's it. I hope it was educational, and I guess stay tuned for more. So yeah, I guess we'll see you in the next one.